Morning view. And the mountains are gorgeous. Hopefully this weekend we'll get some firewood cutting done and some chainsaw milling. Chainsaw milling is #1 priority right now. But hopefully we can get some firewood content brought to you guys. I know some of you guys like that more than timber falling and stuff like that, but I'm just trying to fill in the blanks while I'm working. So anyway, have a good day all. Well, I'm pretty disgusted with myself. I left my gas in my freaking truck. Now I gotta hike all the way back up out of here, all the way around the road, clear over to my dang truck. Son of a gun. Frick, it feels like a Monday now. Well, it's one of them mornings, that's for sure. But that's when you need to slow it down. Don't get in a rush, because mornings like this, when you're forgetting stuff, late to work. I woke up an hour late. Not really late to work, I just wanted to start an hour earlier. So yeah, I'm irritable and stuff like that. So just need to slow down, breathe, and be paying attention to what I'm doing. So anyway, let's fall some trees. So I shaved that bark off there to get more lift. There she goes. Money. Yeah, if you got, there's 2.5 inches of bark right there. You shave that off there, you'll be able to get more lift with your wedge. It's out here, that bark will just smash down. You shave it down, get to solid, throw your wedge in there, you get way more lift. Remember how I was talking about them larch being hard to read? That was one of them. It was leaned uphill, but it didn't really look like it had that many more limbs hanging downhill, but it was enough to pull that tree over. When you go to do a back cut first and you read the tree wrong and it starts going, snip that hinge wood, otherwise you're gonna barber chair. But this way she goes some days. So anyway, I'm gonna get back to cutting. Hope you guys enjoyed this little video. I don't know how much more I'll do, but yeah, gotta be ready to snip that hinge wood, especially when you're doing a back cut first. Like I said, they'll barber chair. And these larch, they're a pretty hard read. So well, I finally burnt the tip out. Well, it's starting to go. It's sounding pretty bad. So I've been running this bar well over a year. This backup bar, yeah, I'm pretty sure this one is my backup. Yeah, this is one I got from one of my buddies for a backup bar. I haven't ran this one much. This is the original one that came on this saw. So I've had the saw for about a year and let's say 14 months. You know, and I ran this saw pretty heavy, cutting a bunch of firewood, fallen timber. I finally burnt the tip out. You know, like 14 months on a tip is pretty good, I think. You know, and you could say it's caused from running used motor oil. That's what I use for bar oil, and I won't change it. The price of a tip is the same price as 1 gallon of bar oil. So what's changing a tip out once a year versus spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on, heck, probably close to $1,000 on bar oil in a year, when I can run used motor oil for free out of my uncle's logging truck. So don't sleep on used motor oil. I run a 32-inch bar on my saw, and I mean, it's still good, it's just, it wasn't sounding too good. I'll change it out. Run a 32-inch bar, it gets plenty of oil. Well, as you can see, there's no hot marks on my bar or anything like that. Yep, don't sleep on used motor oil. Like I said, I've saved hundreds and hundreds, probably close to $1,000 using used motor oil, recycled motor oil. Gotta go green with this earth. You know, they say they have a summer and a winter brand of bar oil. It's a bunch of hogwash. You know, it's just like you go buy a Ford and they tell you you have to bring it back to the Ford dealer to get fixed, and you know, that's how they make money. You know, Still and Husqvarna make bar oil. Of course, the dealers are going to tell you to run their brand because it's the best and you need it for that specific saw. One of my favorite people in this world, he's passed now. I called him Grandpa Fred. He was my adopted grandpa. He always told me when I was younger, of course I'd always tell him things, we'd always BS. I'd tell him a story I heard he'd always tell me, David, believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see. Well, if he was still alive to this day, he would probably say 3/4 of what you see. No, he's a good old cowboy. One of my favorite people. He helped me through a pretty hard time when I was a teenager. I moved out when I was 15 years old. Me and my old man couldn't get along. I won't say the reasons. You know, he's changed now. I've changed. You know, we get along great these days. But yeah, I moved out when I was 15, and that old man, he helped me through a pretty rough time. It's pretty hard when he left. But he died doing what he loved. He died on back of a horse while he was chasing horses. Yeah, it was rough, but hell, it still is. Anyway, none of what you hear, half of what you see, 3/4 of what you see. So yeah, use motor oil. It works. I'll just save this for a backup bar now until I get new tips in. I'm making an order today through Madson's. Shop Madson's, great shop. Probably some of the lowest prices around, so. Madson's or your local shop. I support my local shops. You know, the Steel dealer in Tonasket, Washington, the Husqvarna dealer in Colville, Washington. Those are the closest to me. So I support them guys. Tony in Colville, awesome dude. Tasman goes to him. Tim in Tonasket. But anyway, thanks for watching. Wish you guys good health and happiness. And yeah, I'm gonna get back to work and finish the day out and head home. Later. Okay, so I just got thinking, I'm gonna start doing not a series, but I'm gonna start doing shorts of tips and tricks. So, start off tip number 1. During the summer, always throw your chainsaw on top of a stump. The muffler, chain, it can all get hot. A lot of dry stuff can start a fire. You know, that's why we usually pack fire extinguishers. Tip number 2, clean your air filters when you're leaving your saw at the end of the day. If you're leaving it on your strip or whatever, just a little bit of gas. Dump it on the inside. Shake it around. That way it flushes all them fines to the outside of the filter versus inward. Now I'll leave my saw on a stump. That way when I leave at the end of the day, I know it's not going to catch some pine needles or anything like that on fire. So I'll probably put it on a different stump, that way it's less visible from the road. But yeah, hope these little tips and tricks help. So yeah, clean your air filter, keep your saw on a stump. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Hope you guys like the tips and tricks. In one of the other videos, I went over the gas jug. Makes for easier pouring. I think it's on the video that I thought I blew the 660 up. Go back and check that video out if you haven't. And I'll explain the purpose behind the bottle caps.